Hello and welcome to Sunrise Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and as you guys can see, I am not joined by my co-host Aaron Goldstein, but stepping in for him is the one and only Billy Celio, Senior Product Manager at Upper Deck. Billy, thanks so much for joining the show and for picking up Aaron's slack. How you doing today?
Right, I know. No, doing great. Just busy as always, getting ready for a big Wednesday.
Absolutely. So, this is one of the episodes we look forward to the most each year, that being our sit down with you to go over all things about the newest release of the Cup. And with this being 23-24, of course, it marks one of the most anticipated releases of the product, certainly in recent memory, at the very least, highlighted by all of Connor Bedard's big time rookie cards. So, we'll just jump right on into it with that. What is it like to build one of those products that you know will kind of be viewed as one of those all-time iconic releases? Do you feel any added pressure?
Anytime you're working on the cup, there's added pressure. And when I first started working on the cup, a lot of times you would hear the word innovation, need to try new things, need to do new stuff, and we tried a few things. Some very successful, some not so successful. But as time has gone by and as I've matured as a product manager, really kind of focusing on the bread and butter of what is the cup, and creating some really nice, beautiful looking cards, and teaming up with designers like Gene McLeod. And a number of a number of other designers that really it's come across in this year's cup.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. Speaking of the designs, one thing we always love hearing about is the design of the base cards and the rookie cards for the product. So, what went into the design for those this year?
So if you've seen the design, I was really trying to get a two different colors of deco foil on the base design this year. Unfortunately, just when the costings came back and needed to cut a little bit here and a little bit there to get everything to cost out. Unfortunately, the second color kind of got nixed, but I still think it still has that two color feel to it, where it's got the silver, and then it's also got the colored deco foil, whether it be blue, red, green, depending on what parallel gold you have. And I think it came out really nice. I think the cards look a little different than they necessarily. It's got its own original design to it. It doesn't look like a previous year's design, but it doesn't not look like a cup card. So it does look like a cup card, basically double negative there. But so I really enjoy it. This is one of my favorite designs. I've had this design sitting on my phone for almost 2 years now, and I've been excited to finally be able to show people like this is the design that we came up with, and everybody seems to really think it looks nice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the next thing I was going to ask you because it's very unique, like you said, to see cup base cards and base RPAs that use something other than just the silver foil. So I know you mentioned kind of the wanting to do something a little different and innovate a little bit, but what kind of inspired the decision to try going that different route?
I thought the one of the gentlemen that works here has been working on the base design for the cup, and the rookie RPAs for many years. When I say we've got Jean working with us, she helped with a number of inserts and whatnot, but we've got a guy that really has been working on the base set for year after year. He's got a board with all of the designs, and we kind of before every year we kind of take a step back and just kind of review all of the previous designs and kind of say, okay, what do we want to do this year? What's the theme going to be? Is it going to be like a silver theme? Is it like kind of a metal feel to it, like the metal of the cup? Is it going to be colorful? Is it going to be all white? Is just kind of get a feel for what kind of design we want to do, because what a lot of people probably know, or if you don't, we take the base set and then we create a number of inserts that we call it almost like a family of inserts, where like the signed auto patches and the limited logos and stuff like that, they're all part of the family of that year of the cup. So not only do we have to think about what does the base card look like, but how is this going to be incorporated into all the other designs that we create.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense for sure. Speaking of the RPAs, we will just jump right on in to one of the things that people are talking about the most, that being the fact that, all of the RPAs are slabbed. And if people have not seen that, at this point, I have the Bedard 98 out of 99 on the screen there. So obviously this is been a hot button topic early on, leading up to release, and now that the product's out. So, just kind of talk a little bit about that. What was the process for developing the idea, and why was this the right time to do it?
First of all, I want to say the guy that constantly is walking behind me, that's Will. He was in on the puck, the cup pack out also with me. So all of the really good tins that people get, those are the ones I packed, and
Mm,
all of the ones that aren't as that might not be as good, Will packed all of those. So now you have a face to go with the name.
yes.
Just keep that in mind. He likes to look at all the stuff on my desk, so he was probably seeing if I had any cool anything to look at and didn't realize I was doing a podcast. Anyway, so yeah, this was something that our higher ups had been working on, and like Jason said, this isn't like we didn't just decide like, oh, this year let's do this. Like this has been something that we've been working on for years, trying to come up with a way to really solidify the guarantee of the patch and autograph on a card. And you know, these are very important cards. You know, every year, thank goodness we have this, because every year during cut pack out, I literally have to take all of the cards and put them in number order, and I'm sitting on a chair on it, and then have them all on the table taking a picture, because I have pictures of all the 99s for the past 5 or 6 years that I've been doing the cut pack out, that somebody else hasn't done it. So I got a number of that already. So don't have to do that anymore, because it's all with the authority. They have all that information. They have I think it's like 10 to 16 different images of that one card from different angles and everything. So like you'll know that that's the card. People have been worried about, authentication of patches, authentication of autographs, and you know, Upper Deck as a whole felt this was the best way to guarantee it for you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. I'm kind of curious to hear more about the partnership that you guys have with the authority, and kind of how that came to be, and just kind of what that working process to do this looked like.
So the authority, for those of you who don't know, we have other stuff that we work with the authority on, where it be comic books and Funkos and stuff like that. So that's kind of that's like our relationship, and we've kind of given them the duty or whatnot of taking care of these cards and having it in their database and everything of what each card is. um there's things that in the future that you'll see. This is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, hopefully. People have talked about, are you going to do this for other products? And we'll find out. But that whole part is really like, they kind of just told me, hey Billy, this is what we're doing. you know um, this is much higher up, and they're the ones that are determining a lot of the stuff that goes on with this.
That makes sense. So let me ask you your thoughts. What do you think of the idea and how it was executed?
If people are gonna worry about something, I think this is a sure way of not having to worry about it. And the other thing is, sorry, got to wave some people off. The other thing is, it's not like you're going to, if you get it graded or if you do something, as long as you have that slip, as long as even if you crack it out, as long as you have all the information, you can still like grade it with different companies. You can still do whatever you want with it and have it guaranteed. If you want to sell it without the slab, have that slip with you, and you're good to go. But that's, I appreciate the 100% guarantee this is the card in front of you because we've got pictures and everything to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that makes a lot of sense. Kind of touching more on the execution of the idea. Can you speak a little bit, if you know? I don't know how involved you were with the decisions, like you said, but why go with the slab with the QR code as the choice, as opposed to just having a photo gallery online that people could refer to, or printing a QR code on the back of the card with the legal text on the back, or something like that? Kind of just why that was the way that you guys went.
I think if you're familiar with our UDA process and everything, it's pretty. We're pretty, like, I don't want to say strict about stuff, but like we go above and beyond when it comes to authenticity for stuff like our UDA products. So why wouldn't we give our trading cards the same attention that we give our UDA pieces? So, you know, this is the, whether you think it's above or beyond, this is, a much higher guarantee rate than just having some pictures online um, or like a sticker on there. And some people don't like stickers too. This is just my personal thing I'm saying right now, but like when I get my autographs authenticated, I actually request, I would rather have it slabbed than put a sticker on the back of the card. So
Fair.
I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I'm just,
Yeah.
it's this, like, we go above and beyond when it comes to authentication. Like, we take pride in it as a company, and this is, I think we did a great job and went above and beyond what people are like. You could just do that. That's the whole thing, is you could just do that. Yeah, we could, or we could go above and beyond and give you a much higher guarantee, and that's what we decided to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Some people may not have seen any breaks of the product so far. So, can you explain kind of how the cards are inserted into each tin? I mean, obviously, for as long as we can remember, it was always base card on top and then the RPA right below that. But obviously, a slab kind of makes things a little bit different.
I can do one better for you. We got our QA case, so I've got some here, so I can just kind of show you. So you've got your original box here that has there's a sticker here, there's a sticker there. You open it up, nice purple-ness to it. I think the boxes look
I
pretty
like it.
nice. And you can see like the back, it actually has like kind of like the pattern of the base cards and stuff on there. So we open it, and then you got your tin, another beautiful tin. It's got a little purple, a little blue. Open that up. And then you got this, and there'll be like plastic and stuff on these things. So you open this up. Now you got your box. This is just nice. All right, so we go to the box. It's got two stickers here. Like, we take every precaution. You got two stickers here. Notice it even says like void on here in case something bad happens. So let's open this up. Hopefully you don't. This isn't the one that has the Bedard one shield in it that we pulled. Oh, good. It doesn't. Okay, so as always, it's built exactly the same way, except the usual cadence of a break would be the top card is a base card, and then usually your second card is the rookie auto patch, and then the third card is an auto patch. The fourth card is like an auto. The fifth card is usually some sort of memorabilia card, and the sixth card is kind of a wild card. So now we don't have the rookie auto patch. So here we have, you have an auto patch. So that's your second auto patch. Technically, when we say you get two auto patches per tin, and then you get an autograph. And sometimes people just pull the foam. I'm slow rolling this for you because I want to get to the other thing. Then you got here's a Splendor patch.
Nice.
I think the Splendor design looks nice this year. And these guys were playing with it earlier. And here's a new design that I'll go over. And then you have your rookie rink gallery, and I'll kind of describe what this is probably later on. And then if you have the foam in, or if you don't have the foam in, I'll just put the foam back in. It's got the little rookie card below. So we didn't want people to be like, "Oh, I'm done." No, there's the rookie card below. And so it's almost like, what's really cool about it, it's almost like a second reveal. Like, okay, because a lot of it is the razzle dazzle when people are breaking this stuff. So here's the second reveal. So you can go from the top. Here's the part that sucks though, is you can go on the top and you see the name on the slab, or you go from the bottom and you see the name on the bottom. So it's going to be a quick reveal unless you kind of go from the side, which I don't know. But then the bottom you'll have the rookie auto patch, and it's got like these nice little things that you can just put your finger in there. And then you've got, and the best way of describing this, if you've collected any slabs, it's like a Beckett, but I wouldn't call it as clunky as a Beckett slab, but it's like thickness wise, it's almost like a Beckett slab. But that's partially because it's a thick card. You get 120, 140 point card in there. So that's, sorry, whoever. Oh, yep, Blackhawk fan. There you go. Sorry. That's one less in the market for you, Eric.
Yeah, so he's a scrub anyway. It's okay.
There's the unveiling process for you.
Very cool. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate that.
No worries.
Cool to see how it works, and I like the added, like you said earlier, kind of going above and beyond, adding that, the rookie card below spacer, kind of not only just to inform people, but also as that, slow roll reveal aspect as well. Great for breaking. So that's really cool. Of course, it makes sense from the production standpoint of packing each box that if you're going to do this, you have to do them all. But beyond just the practicality of it, was there any additional reasoning for why, include all of the RPAs in this, in the slabbing process, as opposed to just like the 99s?
Yeah, because I mean, you never know which rookie is going to get hot sometimes. We always talk, Jason Robertson was a 249, and he became a stud after the fact. There's a few 249s that become a big deal. So we just decided to do them all. And I think that was the right decision. I think, and then if you don't, then it's just kind of like, okay, how are we going to do the tins? It's a little bit more of a confusion through the process. So we decided to do them all.
Yep, I think that makes a lot of sense for sure. Speaking of the 99s, that's obviously a checklist that people are always looking forward to seeing who makes it, who doesn't. So for those who have not seen the checklist, it's Adam Fantilli, Luke Hughes, Logan Cooley, Connor Bedard, Leo Carlson, and Simone Nemec. And a lot of those make perfect sense. Maybe the one that you could debate is Nemec, but he still makes sense being a second overall pick. But as a reminder for folks who, sometimes might wonder how that process works about determining who those 99s are, can you share a little bit about the timing of the process for that decision and, kind of how that gets determined?
We have to decide that pretty early. And part of the process is we do a form. I've told the story multiple times where we almost weren't able to pack out Austin Matthews' cup auto patch because he turned his stuff in really late, and we're like, how can we get this done sooner? So there are some people that like Connor Bedard, is going to be a 99. So we're going to put Connor Bedard on an early form and start getting those printed, similar to like holdover rookies, like Series 1. We can start printing those because they're from the year before. So you might have a number of holdover rookies, and then we put in some like what we think might be a good, at least like 3 to 4 of the top guys, so we can get an early start. So we're not sitting there. We literally were hand spiking cards when we were packing out because they were coming in during the pack out with Austin Matthews his rookie year. So we never wanted that to happen again because it's a scary thing because people are putting a lot of money into this, and then If you put a redemption in, who knows how long the redemption lasts and that sort of thing. So we try to get all the top rookies out there if we can, and
Yeah.
hold, and as you've learned, hold the product until we have no other choice sometimes to put sticker labels on it, which there are no sticker labels in there, so you'll be very happy, because I'm sure someone's going to ask the question, because you have 1 year of bad corners, routed corners in series 1, and every single time one of the flagship products comes out, they ask about routed corners, same sort of thing. Your hands were forced to do stickers once, so now every time everyone's going to ask, are there stickers? And I can tell you, there are no rookie auto patch stickers this year.
Nice. Always good to hear. While we're on the topic of that crop of the 99s, do you have any thoughts about those players, and surprised that any of them made it, or surprised that certain guys didn't?
I think you nailed I think you hit it pretty well. Like, there was a maybe in there, but I think we did a good job. Fantilli's. I think that's going to be a sneaky good card. Like, he really came on towards the end of the year. And what's nice is, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it's 9 months between releases. So yes, we are behind. Yes, Bedard already finished his second season. But we're still in a better situation than we were the previous year, and we're planning on improving on that for next year also. So we're catching up in most of our products, and the cup is the same.
Nice. I think the last thing I have for RPA is the fact that the Bedard RPA is a game used patch. Obviously, that's not something that we see with every player every year. So can you just talk a little bit about how that came to be, and why that's important to do for a card like that?
So I had some ideas through the year, when you're going to get a special rookie like that, and let's be honest, he's shown to be a very good player, but he's on a very bad team. And I'm surrounded by Blackhawk fans and talking to one. And I think you can attest to that. Not a great team. And I think once you see him play with better players, that you're going to really see more out of him. I know we were 2 years in, and like, it's not like a sophomore. I don't think he had a sophomore slump. I still think he had a very good season. So once that kid is surrounded by like even more talent, I think you're really going to see how good he is. That being said, I had already, I think, I'd already, maybe this is one of the better decisions in other people's opinions, because everyone loved my Canvas Young Gun decision a year ago in Extended. I had mentioned to my boss and the higher ups that I wanted to do a gamer. I thought this was the right time to do it, and not only did they agree, but they did everything they could to execute that. And our ops team in North Carolina got us a jersey. And what was awesome is, we were able to find a jersey with this specific date, with stats and all that stuff, and photo matched. So was really excited that we were able to execute that, because it's not easy, and it is part of maybe it being later in the year, but it's something that you might see more of in the future. But as of now, Bedard's the first rookie since Crosby's rookie year to have a gamer as his rookie auto patch. Now, that being said, the limited logos have been gamers every year. Those are always game used jerseys. So this isn't the first time, like, since Crosby, that rookies have had game used memorabilia in a set, or even game used auto patches. But this is the first time that it's in the rookie cards since Crosby's rookie year.
Yep. Yep, that makes sense. So turning to some of the inserts, we always like highlighting the new additions to the lineup to the product. So I'll mention some of the new inserts, and then you can share a little bit about the inspiration and the execution for each. So, since we saw one a little bit earlier in the show, we'll start off with the Rookie Rink Gallery.
So this one's kind of interesting. I love it, and you'll see some marketing on it here real soon. So what I did was I paid an artist to basically do a big picture with 4 separate images of the player. And then I made 4 unique versions of them. So there's the non-auto version. Now you're making me open up the tin again and get the card, but it'll help explain it. So there's the non-auto version, which has just like the foil here. I wanted to do something different than like the rookie class of. I wanted to kind of change it up. So you notice it's this is kind of like a corner. Well, there's another one that'll go on this side, another one here, and another one here, and it'll have like basically, and it's positioned so this middle part you can almost kind of see if you look real close. You can see like lines of a hockey rink, and the middle part will make a hockey rink. But what's really cool about it, as I said, like you can see, that's not a picture, that's original art that somebody drew, and there's different versions and croppings of the player. There might be a headshot here and a post photo here, and you saw an action shot there. Might be a full body for the other one. So it's four different pictures. There's four different images of the player, and then you're gonna make almost like a puzzle with this foil section there. So you can have an all foil version of the card, and it's all four cards. You know what? Our marketing team hasn't done it, but since this is coming out, let me see if I have a photo of one. Yes. So this is an example of Bedard. So you can see here.
Okay, cool.
There's the foil is the one that's shiny that you can't see. So you see there's four separate pictures. And so you can have and there's all four versions of all four cards. So you can make this puzzle with all autographs. You can make this puzzle with all patches. You can make it with all jersey, and you can make it, it went dark there. Or you can make it with all like that foil thing. Or you can mix and match. You can have two autos, two patches. You can have the example that you see here, which is one of each. But all of the rookies that are on the checklist will have all four versions in all four positions. So it's kind of cool. Like we don't necessarily do puzzle cards in the cup very often, but I think the cards on their own look beautiful. And this is just this is, everyone knows it's boring. It's not signed, yeah, but it's still a nice looking card. And then you add a patch or you add an autograph or a jersey, and they obviously look a lot better because it's got the memorabilia, the autograph on it. But it's just kind of a cool concept where you don't have to collect, like 16 cards to make a big puzzle. It's four cards, and you can create whatever kind of puzzle you want out of it. So I kind of thought that was a cool concept. And again, not stepping away from the elegance and the how nice the cards look, because they're nice looking cards also.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really cool idea. Especially since at least the basic version is kind of taking the place of those rookie class of. I think that's a really good way to just make it a much more interesting type of insert that people are going to then be inclined to collect the other ones as well. So that's a really cool way of doing that. Next up on the new inserts list, this one I know a lot of people are looking forward to is the Baroque cards.
Yeah, again, I wanted to make a nice looking card, and so we came up with that's one that I believe our designer came up with, that it's just using the foil, using like a spectrum foil, and just making an elegant, nice looking card. And I think they did that with it. I wish I had an example of one here. I didn't take all the pictures this year. We had someone else take pictures. Usually I have, when I come back from a pack out, I have about 200 to 300 photos on my phone, and I spend the whole flight home just cropping the photos so they're nice. But you might have an example. There you go. Yeah, so we basically got some etched foil and just made a nice looking card, nice area to sign. Nothing too crazy. I think they came out great.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the kind of the simplicity, but also the elegance kind of combination with the white background, and then all the foil is going to look awesome on those cards, I'm sure. Yeah. And then I believe those are all retired and Hall of Fame players, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be a very, very popular set, I'm sure. Next up, another one that I think a lot of people are excited about is the Cup Coronation cards.
Yeah, this is kind of like an ode to, there's some old inserts and stuff that, they signed like the foil area and stuff. And so I wanted to make kind of like a foil cup where then they can sign. And then I'm just like, you know what's kind of cool is that little cup area is also a pretty good size for a piece of mem. So there's actually like memorabilia versions of these also, where you see the cup, it's die cut out and there's memorabilia in it. But it's this doesn't like it has that dark area and stuff that's just for marketing purposes. It's a lot brighter than that, and then they sign over it with the blue paint pen, and those came out really nice also. But again, just something different, but something that is relatable to the cup.
Yeah, no doubt about it for sure. I think the last of the new inserts, unless I'm missing something, is the graduates cards.
Yeah, there's been times when we get the Team Canada junior sets, and there's times I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, there's a lot of really good players that have played for the juniors, and we have to hear it all the time. Although I think the U.S. is starting to show their dominance now in the junior levels. But that being said, there have been some amazing players, and I think one year we did like McDavid's rookie auto patch with his Team Canada juniors and pictured him as Team Canada juniors. So I kind of did some digging to find out if we still had some memorabilia left for some of these guys, and we did. So I'm like, well, wouldn't it be cool to kind of just pair them up with them as on the juniors and them as active players, and not only that, but use memorabilia on the card. And what's nice is it's two images, but it's two images where you don't have to have two autographs. It's one autograph, and so it gives it enough size and area for it that it came out really nice.
Yeah, very cool idea and nice execution on those. Um, and then of course, looking at the returning content, there are a few that stood out to me for various reasons, whether it's the insert set as a whole or maybe specific cards on the individual checklist. So, first, I'll kind of start with the ones that are inserts as a whole that stood out to me. I'd love to hear a little bit. One set that I know you are very passionate and excited about, and then one that I really kind of enjoyed the idea of, but maybe the execution wasn't as good in the past. So, kind of curious to hear your thoughts on both of these. First, the materialistics, and then second, the basics.
I'm looking through the checklist to make sure there are any other new ones that you might have missed. I thought there was one, but you know what? I think it actually comes out next year, and I'm starting to see some of the stuff come back. So I you get the years mixed up. Anyway, materialistics. Um, materialistics is one of those inserts that I'm pretty proud of. I think it's one of those cup worthy inserts that you can bring back every year. You have your emblems of endorsement and limited logos and honorable numbers, and I think the materialistics can be part of that family now. I really do. I think they're beautiful cards. You get a big chunk of stick, you get a big chunk of patch. Some of them are signed, some of them are not. That way, I have some signed and some not. That way, I don't run into people upset when you make unsigned limited logos. So, uh, yeah, I think they're really cool, and I think they're nice looking cards, and I plan on bringing them back as often as I can. The Mario Lemieux one is probably my favorite in the checklist. I saw a few of those, and I really liked them.
Nice, nice. And then the return of the basics this year.
Do I have a picture of that one? I didn't have a problem with them the first time, and I don't have a problem with them again. I think they're slick looking cards. Did they post any photos of them or no?
I don't believe so.
They don't believe so. Okay, it's pretty cool, but it's got like three stripes behind it, and it's got the colors, so it's not like mixed together or anything like that. But they're clean cards. It's three different colors foil. They're autographed. Like I said, it's the basic colors that you use when you're printing, and that's the whole point of that insert. And I use the foil colors for it. The cards look great. So I mean that might just be my opinion. I might have wool over my eyes or whatever. I don't know, but I think they look great again. And I think once you see them, you might even say these look better than the previous years. I thought the previous year look was pretty unique. This one's a little less unique, a lot cleaner, and but still gets to the point of the card.
Cool. Yeah, I really liked the concept, behind the inspiration of the insert set the last time. Some people didn't like the design, and of course, there's going to be people who don't. But to me, it was more, the fact of including all of the different printing colors and including those as foils on the card. I think was just a really cool idea. So, yeah, I'm happy to see them come back, and hopefully they'll be better received this time around. Another newer cup insert that is back again this year is one that I know both you and I love. The designs of these and the execution of these and what they are is the NHL collection. So, what can you tell us about the set this year, and how you wanted to maybe freshen up the design, but also keep it true to what the NHL collection is?
So the NHL collection, Nick, I was already talking about using 3 colors of deco foil on a card, which is not cheap, but is what we do. So NHL collection actually came before the basics, and that's when I'm like, hey, we never use two. And again, we're talking about using 2 different colors. Maybe I just like different colors of foil or whatnot, because we were talking about for the base. But the NHL collection is kind of that's probably part of the inspiration of the base design also, is using 2 different color foils, whether it be silver or gold or whatnot. But it's like I always want it to be like an elegant type of looking card. Like this is the NHL collection. It's like it's a collection of something. So they're going to market it. They're going to make something really nice and say, here's this new brand. It's almost like you're introducing a new brand, and here's the elegant, beautiful marketing tool that we have for it. And that's kind of where that card came from. And it's got the jersey and the autos and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make that one came up a number of years ago, and I just wanted to make a really nice looking card, and I like the concept of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So then turning and looking at some of the insert checklists in particular, one thing that kind of caught my eye is the enshrinements only having 4 cards this year instead of having a little bit more extensive of a checklist like we're kind of used to seeing over the years. What prompted the reduced checklist for the enshrinements?
People turning in their autograph cards. Um, you know, uh, and there might be some past project enshrinements in there. So there
Hmm.
might be more than 4, but they might be from previous years.
Hmm.
And yes, there are past project stuff in there, but when you're getting stuff like Sidney Crosby as past projects, people don't seem to complain as much.
Hmm.
Um, that being said, yeah, like we're handcuffed by the number of people that turn in their stuff, and not everybody always turns in their cards. So we think they're beautiful looking cards. It's a beautiful looking set. PETG and Spectrum Deco Foil that's always a winning combination. I'm telling you. So to not have as many in there as we would like is unfortunate, but we also want to get stuff packed out. So maybe you'll see a whole bunch next year. You never know.
Fair, fair. While we're on the topic of update cards, of course, they're always a part of the cup. Like you said, it's just a matter of if and when guys return their cards. So, it is what it is. But there are some pretty big time update cards included this year. And, as I was looking at the checklist earlier today, the one that, caught my attention pretty quickly was a dual scripted sticks of Gretzky and Ovechkin. What can you share about that card or any of the other update cards that stood out to you?
Well, again, it's just a matter of when they have time to sign, and we might have made that card when Ovechkin was you know, having a family reunion in Russia or something like that. I don't know. So if we have an opportunity, I'm looking at the list right now because there might be some other ones that kind of jump out at me here. But I mean, I remember seeing some big names
I know
in,
there's like a
in
Bure Shield
yeah,
Auto
a
and
lot like with Ovechkin. It's just a matter of getting the timing done with his signings. Some of these bigger names, what people don't realize, it's not like we mail them cards every week and they send us cards back every week. a lot of the bigger names you have to schedule signings, and then sometimes it's one and done. Sometimes you get 3 to 4 signings with them. So it kind of depends on the athlete and what they have time to do. You get someone like McDavid, keeps playing in the Stanley Cup Finals. He doesn't have as much time sometimes to sign, or he goes and gets married, and he's got other things to worry about. So some of this stuff is just and dual signatures are also very tough to get done. Because it not only has to go to one person, but then it has to go to another person. So if you're waiting on one person just for the first signature, then you have to wait for the second person. It's sometimes a little frustrating, but it can get done. So yeah, you'll see some. Like I'm looking here, I know there's some Sakic stuff in there. There's some Ovechkin. I think the one that shocked some people, I think there's some Pelve Bure. I could be wrong.
Yep.
But haven't seen that in a while. And sometimes these guys have their cards for years, and then you finally get the cards in, and we want to get them out there as quick as possible.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, there are other huge cards in the product sprinkled among various insert sets. And again, when I was kind of looking at the checklist, there were a few cards that really stood out to me for different reasons. First, in the signature rendition set, there is a Crosby McDavid dual autograph. In the dual shield set, there's a Crosby Ovechkin dual shield, so that's a pretty amazing card. And then in the Monumental Auto Patch booklet set, which all of those cards are spectacular, but the one that everyone's really excited about is, of course, the Gordie Howe one. So I just named 3 spectacular product level type of cards. Can you share a little bit about the significance behind each of those 3 cards in particular?
I can share you a card, just period. If you're looking at your screen,
There
that's
we go.
the card. That one is. We saw that, and it's like, this card is sick. Like, we're excited about it.
The my coordinator is extremely excited about that Gordie Howe.
Mm-hmm.
He was sending me pictures of that a long time ago. He's like, hey, check it out. We cut this, and the monumental Gordie Howe is sick. It's like half the whale on one of the cards and half the whale on the other cards. That's one of the big ones. Here's another one that I was extremely excited about when I saw it. Might be like a year old, but there you go.
Nice. Yep.
And that's like the like loop thing for a lace there on Gretzky's, but that one's pretty sick. I got to take a few pictures. Like if I had them, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a picture here. What's another cool one? Here's one you're gonna lick your chops. Here's a nice exquisite auto patch of some guy.
Yeah, that'll sell nicely.
That one's gonna do. I don't even know how many colors that thing is, but it's pretty sick. And then like the monumentals, they did a great job. Here's a really cool Austin Matthews one that they made.
Nice.
And then they also, here's a really cool Sidney Crosby one that they made. So our coordinators are constantly thinking of really cool cards to make. I build a checklist and say, or I build the set, and I basically say, here's your budget. Here's kind of who I'm looking for, and this is where they get to really shine, and this is where they get to be creative and make cards like Grant Fuhr and Martin Brodeur on the St. Louis Blues. Can you hear me? No, he's not listening to me. But no, this is their time to shine, and they get as excited or even more excited than the consumer, because they know that they had a lot to do with that card coming out, and they know that I build case hits by numbering stuff 1 of 1. I build case hits by having top rookies at 99 in the cup. They get to build case hits by making some really cool cards, checklist wise. We got people in North Carolina that are cutting the memorabilia. They get to make 101s by creating some unbelievable patches and combinations of patches and stuff like that. So, I build the sets, but I give credit where credit's due. I've already talked about our amazing designers. Our coordinators are really good at what they do. Also, when they go in and look and see what type of memorabilia we have and what we can use, and then our team in North Carolina executing that. They do a great job also, and they know how important it is. I can sit there and say like, hey, make this, like try to find multicolor patches. They're not just looking for multicolor patches. They're looking for the best multicolor patches because they know this is the product. Now, I do actually, and this you haven't really gotten into this and might not, but I do actually give direction. Like we don't want every single card to be a 5-color break patch. You want some variety. You want some of these rookie RPAs to be maybe a little more special than others. You want a little bit of variety. So yes, there are some one color patches, and it's not like us being like, oh, I can't believe they cut this, but it's actually given us direction to say, hey, we want a variety even within the number of cards that we're making for these players. So we do that on purpose. It's not a lot, don't get me wrong. Like we don't want a lot of one color patches, but they're not all going to be 5-color breaks. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, which makes sense because if take the Bedards, if every single Bedard is a feather patch, well then they're cool, but they're not as special, like you said.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's definitely smart. Turning to an insert set that's synonymous with the cup, and it's come up a few times already just in name, but we haven't really dive too deep on it yet, but the limited logos set, obviously it's a set that everyone loves, and like I said, it's synonymous with the cup, and always has been and probably always will be. But what's interesting about the set this year is it is a vertical design orientation, which it's only the second time it's ever been vertical, with 0708 being the other. What prompted the change this year, and how do you feel that those cards came out?
I think they came out great. I think they're gorgeous. People were complaining a little bit about like, oh, is the size of the swatch getting smaller? And also like we tried like widening it in other sets, another year, I think. And what they don't realize is we're not taking away from the size. Like we do the math and okay, 1.5 by 1.5 is this much space area wise. Okay, well, what if we do 1 by 2, that sort of thing. It's the same, like, or whatever it is. Like we try to keep the amount of space. It just might look different because it might be skinnier or it might be shorter. But for this year, again, I just kind of wanted to do a little something. It's not like it hasn't been done before, but I just kind of wanted to add a little make it a little different. And you can get some different photos on the cards if they're vertical as opposed to horizontal and stuff. So I think the cards look great. I think the example that they give in marketing is like the McDavid with the oil drop and whatnot. I wish they would have centered the oil drop a little better, but I think the cards look great. I don't think people will complain about that as much as they complained about the non-auto versions of them in the past. But from a standpoint of going from horizontal to vertical, I don't see too many arguments about that.
Yeah, like you said, I think the design looks nice, and they came out really, really nice. Of course, beyond the obvious RPA, there are plenty of other cool Connor Bedard cards in the product, like you showed one of the exquisite RPAs a minute ago. But one that has caught a lot of people's attention, and I know you really enjoy this insert set every time it's done, are the ticket auto booklet cards. And I know the Bedard has his NHL debut ticket included. So what can you share about that card in particular? And then if there's any other cool ticket cards that you want to highlight.
I don't think I got one of those when I was packing out, and I was kind of I love ticket cards. And again, this is where our coordinators shine. They're constantly looking for cool things to put in cards. And it's like when we did the ticket booklets before, it would be like, okay, this is like we would just buy a bunch of tickets, and it's like, oh well, this is a game he skated in, great. This is a game he skated in, great. That's how it started. Since then, we've taken it to another level in sets like Artifacts. and the cup, and we're really going out looking for significant games and dates. Because I remember the one I was most excited, the one that got me the most excited when we did it for the first time when they added the inscriptions and stuff was actually McDavid's first goal. Because we got some of the tickets from Dallas, and we're able to make some really cool cards out of those. I think we got like 6. I think they're numbered out of 6, but they're beautiful and they're really cool. So, that made a big impact to the fact where now we're looking for a lot of special moments and tickets, and to have like Bedard's, first game or first goal or whatever, is pretty meaningful and pretty important. So again, a lot of it has to do with timing, if we can get those in time or not. But yeah, those are very special.
Awesome. And then speaking of Bedard, like we said, the RPAs have game used memorabilia. You mentioned the limited logos; those have always been game worn for rookies, but again, no different this year. Are there any cards in the product beyond just the RPA and the limited logos for Bedard that have game used memorabilia?
I think the limited logos and the rookies are where we put the game use and the parallels of the RPAs. That's also game use. So like the gold parallel and the shield and whatnot. I believe those are the ones that we're instructed to use game use. So if the other ones don't, then it would be RPA.
Okay. And then probably the notable nameplate too.
Yeah, if there's those are gamers also, unless it says like Upper Deck.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think people really are appreciating the fact that it is game use memorabilia on those cards. I know we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but yeah, the feedback on that has been overwhelmingly positive. And like you said too, not even just the fact that it is game use, but knowing specifically it's from this game. Again, like you said, kind of going above and beyond to that next level, providing as good of quality for this product as possible. So definitely kudos to you guys on that. Trying to see here, we talked about update cards already. What are some of what are some of your favorite cards from the product?
Well, I was going to say real quick also, similar to the slabbed rookie cards. Like, this is stuff that people have been asking for. People have been asking for game use stuff. And as I said, I think you'll see more as time progresses of being able to use more game used stuff for rookies and being able to, guarantee patches and that sort of thing. What's kind of interesting too is, I think it falls, I don't want to say upon deaf ears, but I think that people don't realize how much game use stuff that Upper Deck actually used in comparison to maybe some of our competitors. We do a lot of game use stuff. We use a lot of specific game use memorabilia in stuff like SP game use. We use a lot of game use specific stuff in stuff like the cup and everything. And I think you're seeing, the popularity with these like instant cards and stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, and you're going to get something here. We've been using that for years. We've been doing that sort of stuff for years. You're going to probably see a lot of stuff from the Four Nations also, but it takes time to get stuff. We don't want to sit there and promise you something, and then 6 months later you're still waiting for the card because it needs to be produced. So we kind of save that sort of stuff for stuff like the cup and like game used and other stuff. So the fact that we have all this game used memorabilia, and you're not going to pull a patch off a card and it's going to say like it's from some other player, and the card says it's issued to whatever, that's always nice. You asked me what are my favorite inserts. I'm always intrigued on the legends of the NHL triples and who our coordinators put in there. Sometimes they're nice to me and surprise me, and will throw out a triple Detroit guy. Other times they do an LA Kings one, which I think they did this year. And the coordinator's a Kings fan, so I was joking with him, and then he's just like, oh yeah, look how many goals these guys have combined total. I'm like, all right. I think the exquisite cards look nice. The monumental patches are always nice. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. I really like the set this year. I think it looks, it's one of the cleanest sets I think we've built in a while. And this is just the start of things to come. I've already seen, stuff for next year's that I'm even more excited about. But you have a strong player in there with like Connor, and you have a number of other guys that have been playing well. Wolf, Levi, um, Faber. There's a bunch of guys in there with rookie content that'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just Bedard, like you said. There's quite a few other guys who have
Mhm.
already been making their mark on the league, so that's really good for the crop as a whole and for the product. So I think that wraps it up for all the questions I have. Is there anything that we have not yet discussed about the product that you want to touch on?
Yeah, I think our marketing team's going to do something on this real soon. But last year we did the Lucky 7 box because there were 7.99s, and it's like, oh, this would be a cool thing to do. There's actually going to be a Bedard hot box where every single card in the box is a Connor Bedard card, and it does not fall away from the cadence of the packs. So you're going to have probably one of the unsigned rookie galleries as your base card. You're going to have the rookie auto patch. You're going to, I believe, auto patch signature card. You're going to have another auto in there, and you're going to have a memorabilia auto in there. So I think you get all four of the rink gallery. You get the rookie auto patch, and then you get the signature autos card. So a Bedard hot box. So those people that you're talking about spending $10,000 a spot for the Blackhawks, if they get that box, they're actually going to do quite well. So yeah, look out for the Bedard hot box this year.
That's pretty cool. Hopefully that's one that's opened up on camera. It'd be fun to see,
right?
Someone opening that.
We're still waiting on the Lucky 7. I haven't heard anything of that.
Yeah, I haven't either. So hopefully we'll see that fun Easter egg for this product shared publicly. So yeah, I think, like I said, that's all I have. Unless there's anything else that you want to add, I think we can wrap things up.
Nope. Been a great show again.
Awesome. Well, like I said, we'll wrap things up there. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy Billy's insight. As always, it's greatly appreciated. As always, please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast, and on Twitter at Sunrise CC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.